Alright, so we're out here and we're going to meet Aaliyah in just a few moments. So what I'm going to have you guys do is you land here is go ahead and like, comment, and share this video. We're going to talk to Aaliyah, who experienced well, I'll let her tell you what happened to her in Marina at Walmart?
Yes.
At the Walmart.
An employee at Walmart in Marina, and while I was there, I endured a lot of physical and verbal abuse from a lot of the customers and management, and there was even cases of sexual abuse from other coworkers. When I first started there was good management and everything was okay, but they made changes to management, and a lot of the people who would defend us, a lot of the people that would protect us when stuff like that would happen, they all got moved, and we were left with people, managers, who didn't care about the employees or our well-being or anything, and it got really hard. I was full-time, and even though we weren't short like on customers coming in or anything, they would cut our hours. I was full-time, and then I got cut down to 11 hours a week, and it was really bad because I couldn't survive off of that, and they were just cutting hours left and right, but there was barely anybody in the store to help with the customers or anything. A lot of the times customers would get really out of control. I've had somebody spit on me in the middle of a pandemic. I've had somebody cough on me.
Oh, no.
I've had somebody throw things at me. I had a customer who threw a case of beer on me and broke my nail on my hand, and my hand was bruised and my fingernail was bleeding. And the manager at the time still made me ring up the customer anyways, even though he had physically assaulted me. I've had grown-ass men in self-checkout push me down, like physically push me and me fall to the ground because he wanted to take more than 20 items into self-checkout. The things that they were making big deals of, they weren't really big deals, but when we tried to report the abuse from customers to management, they did not do anything. They tried to say that they would trespass these customers, but these customers were not trespassed. We were constantly being abused physically and verbally by these customers, from people calling me a bitch and people even calling me a slut for some reason, and then I went to physical abuse and customers even threatening the employees and asking them to meet them out in the parking lot to fight them. I've had customers waiting for me by my car, trying to break into my car and waiting for me by my car to fight me. And when I would report all these issues to management, they would not do a thing. There was even an employee when I was working there who was a great friend of mine who was sexually assaulted by another coworker, and when she reported it to management, they did not do anything about it. And when the security guy was let known about it, he's not allowed to talk about those issues with other employees, but he still continued to talk about it with me. And he told me that the girl who was sexually assaulted, he said that you can tell that the guy didn't mean to do it intentionally. And then he also said that she was being over dramatic. When the guy groped her, he grabbed her boob and he grabbed her side and her butt, and it was all on video camera, and the security guard was making fun of her and talking about her to other customers, other employees, excuse me, and was making fun of her situation. And when I was being physically and verbally abused by other customers, when I would tell management, they would tell me to suck it up and stop crying. There was also employees that were told to go back to Mexico, told to fix their English, said that this is America, speak English. And when they were crying in the back, the store manager, Mark, he told them, well, you just got to be nice to those customers, kill them with kindness. And he told them to stop crying and get back out there and work. Maria and her mother were immigrants from El Salvador, and they haven't even been here for maybe about, her mother I know hasn't been here for maybe about a year. And of course that hit home for her, since she had just come here for a better life with her children, and she doesn't deserve to get paid minimum wage for abuse. There's been customers who have physically fought some of the managers there. We've been punched, everything. And when the security guard said that he was going to trespass these people and had said that he was going to ban these people from the store, he never did. And I remember there was a couple of times where I saw customers who had tried to physically assault me and my other coworkers come into the store who were supposedly trespassed. And I would tell security about it, say, hey, they're right there, they're trespassing, aren't they trespassed? And he said, I'll handle it later, and waved his hand and walked away. And the last day that I was there working at Walmart, I had a customer who was verbally abusive to me and who had called me a racial slur twice. And who had called my manager at the time a racial slur as well. And he was threatening me. He was yelling at me, and it was all because he wanted a $40 mirror for $6, and I had told him no, per policy. And he was spewing out insults. He was going crazy, and he had called me a stupid nigger. And you know, with everything going on right now, that word should not be used at all in any way, shape, or form. At all, it shouldn't be used. That word shouldn't even exist.
It should.
No. And you know, it really hurt my feelings, and I turned around and I told him that I wasn't stupid, and he said, yes you are, you stupid nigger. And when I went to go and get my manager, when my manager came over, he said under his breath, bunch of stupid niggers. So I had an anxiety attack, and I walked over and I had to calm down because I was shaking so profusely. And management, of course, they let the guy take his mirror, and Anthony couldn't deal with it, so he had another manager come over because that guy was being just so crazy with him. And my boyfriend was already coming to pick me up from the store, because that's what he did every single day. He used to pick me up because I didn't have a car. And my boyfriend was waiting for me outside for me to go home, and him and the customer had gotten into a verbal altercation outside, and the customer had pulled out a curtain rod and was swinging it at him and said, bitch, fuck you, to him, after he asked him, why were you verbally, you know, assaulting my girlfriend? Why were you calling her racial slurs? Why were you doing this, this, and this to her? That's not cool, basically. And the guy turned aggressive. He started cussing at him, and he started waving a curtain rod in his face, and my boyfriend pulled the curtain rod and threw it to the side, and then they started a physical altercation. Security and the management ran over there, but they stood there, they watched it, and they did absolutely nothing at all whatsoever. They didn't call PD, they didn't try to intervene. When they called the police, my boyfriend was already gone and the situation was already over. And they waited until everything was over to call the police. And when the police got there, even though I was in the midst of having a panic attack, they still talked to me, and they still were trying to force me to talk to them. When I told them, can you please stop? I'm having an anxiety attack. I need to calm down. I can't stop shaking. He wasn't listening to me, and he tried to say that I was lying about knowing who was involved in the fight, and I did not lie. The police officer lied on the police report, and they were yelling at me. They were just being so abusive to me. And when I finally walked away because I said I do not want to talk to you anymore, the officers continued to talk about me, and other employees were pointing at me. I left the store and I went with my mom, and later that night the police came to my door at 4 a.m. It was Carolyn Polovia, a very horrible and corrupt police officer who was switched from Salinas PD over to Marina PD. She banged on my door, and my mom went to answer it, and as soon as my mom answered the door, she tried to force her way into my house, and she pushed my mom. And when my mom told her multiple times, you are not allowed in my house, I do not want you in my house, after she had stated it, she did not have a warrant, she did not have any legal right to enter my house, she pushed my mom out of the way, and she put her foot halfway of her body with inside of my house. And when I came to the door, I was asking what was going on, and my mom was telling me she's trying to enter my house, she cannot be in here. I told her no, and my mom tried to close the door, and she kicked the door and cracked my door frame. And there's paint coming off of my wall, my door won't lock all the way, my door is very broken. And she pushed it out of the way, and she said, Aaliyah, we can either talk in here or you could talk out here, in a very threatening manner. So I went outside with her and I was talking to her. I told her, I can't really say everything to you right now, I'm shaking really bad, you guys are scaring me. She didn't care, and she was lying to me, saying that she already had my phone records, this is that. She was asking me where my boyfriend was. I told her I did not know, which I really didn't know, and she just kept on pushing me when I was telling her, can you please stop, let me breathe, I'm having an anxiety attack, I can't stop shaking. She didn't care, and she illegally took my phone. I haven't had my phone maybe in 2 months, and when it was a $700 phone, and when I told her, what am I gonna do, I need my phone, she said, well, you're gonna have to figure it out, just buy another one. So coming from a very low income black family, we don't have the money to just buy, you know, phones like that again. And I already knew I was gonna lose my job at this point, so, you know, I was kind of just asked out of everything. And when I told her that my boyfriend had mental illness, you know, such as bipolar disorder, he has depression, and he has borderline personality disorder, I was telling her, and she said, her response to that was, we're gonna do what we have to do to protect ourselves. And when I said, he has mental illness, if anything, he's going to hurt himself before he hurts other people, she said, well, we're gonna have to do what we have to do to protect ourselves and our fellow officers at the end of the day. And she said that about 3 more times. She didn't say anything about her wanting to help him, nothing like that at all. And I started crying because I knew that if my boyfriend went to the Marina police station to turn himself in, Marina PD would have seriously hurt him with the way they were talking about him. They were talking about how they were going to gun him down, and they were just being very aggressive. And Carolyn Polovia, she charged my boyfriend with attempted murder. And it was not in the slightest attempted murder. And she was being just so horrible to my family. She was harassing me. She lied on the police report. And when I went to the police station to get my phone, even though she had seized it illegally, they still said, well, she still seized it. It's still evidence now, and there's nothing we can do about that. Basically what they told me. And CPS got sent to my house. She was threatening me. She was scaring me, and she was being very mean to our lawyer and my boyfriend. And she is just a very rogue and horrible police officer who doesn't care about Hispanic or black people, and who doesn't care about people who have mental issues. And my boyfriend recently lost his health insurance while incarcerated, and he lost ability to get his medication. And it's really hard for us right now because we are scrapping together everything we have for a lawyer right now. And thankfully the recent charges against him were just dropped, at least the attempted murder one was. And we're just praying for everything to go good with him, but he's still facing some serious time for defending himself against someone who was harassing him, who almost killed him, and who was harassing his girlfriend and spouting out racial slurs towards her. And it's really horrible that that police officer is still on the force, even though a couple of years back she was actually charged with a wrongful death lawsuit because she had murdered somebody. And she was actually moved from Salinas.
Your time.
Oh, my time? I'm okay. And she had actually been moved from Salinas PD over to Marina PD because she had killed somebody. So they moved her over to Marina PD before they could fire her. And she's still on the force. She was harassing me and my family. She was harassing my boyfriend and his family. And they charged into my boyfriend's mom's house with semi-automatic rifles. And they were searching through her bedrooms and everything. And they scared her.
How you doing?
And they were just harassing her as well. And I am scared every single time I go to drive anywhere in Marina, because I already know if I get pulled over, it's just a done deal. You know, I'm very, very, very afraid of police officers, and I've had a bunch of run-ins with them. My boyfriend Eli has had a bunch of run-ins with them in Marina. This isn't the first time we face anything like this with them. And it's honestly, it's really sad that it has to be like this, but you know, he doesn't deserve to be in there. He didn't do anything but defend himself, and it is just horrible that we're having to go through this, and everybody is struggling to get every penny we have together so that we can fight these charges. But to the man who called me those things, and to the man who is pushing the DA to keep my boyfriend incarcerated even though he knows what really happened, I'm just gonna pray for you and hope that whatever you're going through, you get through it, because the way you are treating essential workers, the way you are treating other people, and the way you are probably treating your own family is not right. You have something really wrong with your soul. You're full of hate, And I honestly hope that you can get over it, and I hope that God will help you through whatever you're going through and that you will heal, because nobody should treat somebody else like that, and this whole situation should have never happened. Those words shouldn't have come out of your mouth. And to Walmart management, they have recently trespassed me from the store, and when I asked why, they wouldn't tell me. And when they fired me, they wouldn't tell me why they fired me. And they are trying to cover up the abuse that the employees face there, and more people are quitting and leaving because the way that people are being treated by Walmart company is not okay. People are underpaid, they're overworked, and it's just not right. And when an employee is being physically or verbally harassed or assaulted by a customer, it is the manager's job to go and protect that employee, because that store would not be running if it wasn't for everybody in there who's busting their ass to make it that way. Everybody who is busting their ass to get these people their groceries, even though they're calling us names. And it just isn't right, and I really hope that Walmart changes their policies and they input better management at their stores, at least people that will protect the employees, because they are being punched, they are being spit on, they are being coughed on, and they are being verbally and physically assaulted every single day. And even getting their tires slashed in the parking lot, getting their catalytic converters stolen off of their cars. And when reported to corporate, nothing happened. So I'm glad that I was terminated from Walmart, because I probably would have been stuck there, and I didn't want to end up like that. So I'm glad that I'm with a much better company. I'm glad that that company protects me, and those managers there actually have my back if anything does happen. And I'm praying that everybody who I just mentioned really gets better, because they are sick. And I hope that they get better and they heal from that experience. But free Eli, free him, and the policing in Marina, Seaside, Monterey, Salinas, everything, it needs to change, because it's not right. Them getting budget increases is not right, considering that there's people out here starving on the streets and students going to Seaside and Marina High who don't have any food, who don't have access to home. They need that money more than those police officers do, because I was one of those students at Marina High that was homeless, and I had to move in with my teacher at 17 years old. And the same officer that came to my door that night with Carolyn Polovia was the same officer who let me sleep outside when I was kicked out of my house when I was 17. He's the same officer who said that he didn't care where I slept. His name was Officer Bald. He was also the school resource officer at Marina High. He knew what was going on with me, and he knew that I was kicked out of my house and I had nowhere to stay. And he let me sleep outside. And he said that I was my teacher's problem and that they didn't care where I went. And I was a minor. And about 2 months after that incident, I had attempted suicide. And I'm glad that I'm still here, and I'm glad that I'm still breathing after that experience. But that same officer who said he didn't care about me and he didn't care where I went was the same officer who was over there breaking my door. The same officer who was trying to get me to trust him. But how do you trust people after that? And the fact that he didn't even remember what he did to me is even worse. So hopefully there is a change with the way policing is, at least in Monterey County and around the world eventually, and hopefully we can get Eli out.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Aaliyah. What happened to the white supremacists that attacked you?
What was that?
What happened to the white supremacists that attacked you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I tried to file a police report for a hate crime after I was called that, and Carolyn Polovia was the one who answered the phone, and she told me that I already had a police report for that, and I said I never filed one, and she said, well, I went ahead and did it for you, and I said I never asked you to do that, and she said, well, I went ahead and did it anyways.
Well, we're gonna make sure you get a police report filed from you. That's a complaint from you, not her.
Exactly. You know, and when I tried to file one, they didn't let me, and they said we can give you the case number.
They can't stop you from filing one. You have a legal right to file a police report.
I know, and she tried to stop me. So I haven't heard anything back. The guy's probably not gonna get in any sort of trouble or any fine or anything like that for what he did to me. He's probably not gonna get in any trouble. But I'm gonna try again to file a hate crime against the guy for what he did to me. And hopefully I can get some justice for what happened to me.
And where are you Do you have a GoFundMe, or how are you collecting donations?
Let me say something, because she has to go.
I know, that's why I'm asking real fast.
Yeah.
We did have a GoFundMe, but GoFundMe took it down.
Oh God.
Yeah, so we don't have any way to raise any money for his legal fees. So
Okay.
we're trying to figure everything out.
Okay, well,
And we can help with that.
Okay.
But what I want to say is we're going to be helping this young lady. We're going to be helping her boyfriend. This was basically a hate crime, and it was racist.
Can you introduce yourself real fast?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Mary Smith. And so what I want to say also is this young lady, they have suffered, and I don't know if she mentioned that they broke into her house and took her phone. Did you mention that?
Yeah.
This police officer that did that, we have to vet them officers, and we have to...
People, yeah. All right. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, and after Carolyn Polovia assaulted my mother and broke my door frame, I learned that one of my other friends, her name is Genesis, her dad was also physically assaulted by Carolyn Polovia. He was beaten up multiple times by her. Their family was harassed so much by this police officer that they had to leave Marina and move because they were so threatened by her. And she ran them out of the town. That is what she's doing to me and my boyfriend. When he gets out, we cannot live in Marina anymore because his mom is scared for his life because this police officer has it out for him. And I truly believe that because Marina police officers, they take things to a whole nother level because they're bored. They want something to do. They want to feel like they're real police officers, and they want to blow everything out of proportion and make it 10 times bigger than something that it actually is. And what happened to Genesis and her family, it wasn't okay. Her beating up her dad, her touching her mother inappropriately, and her lying, constantly lying to people.
Tell them about that.
Yes,
the police stopped and her touching her mother.
Yes, so my friend Genesis, she had told me that they had pulled her dad over while he was riding his bicycle. They had tased him and they had beaten him up to the point where he had to be hospitalized. And it wasn't only one time that she did this several times to him. And she had even pulled over their family at a traffic stop and asked if there was any drugs or guns in the car, when nothing they did led to her thinking that. She just wanted to start a problem. And when they asked the mother and the father to get out of the car, she inappropriately touched her mother in front of her children. And even though her mom was telling her to stop, she didn't stop. And that's Carolyn Polovia. She doesn't stop. She goes outside of the law and she does whatever she has to do to meet her needs. She doesn't care about the public. She doesn't care about the community. She cares about herself. She cares about herself, and she cares about her other police officers. She's not here for you. She's not here for me. She's not here for my boyfriend. She's not here for, well, maybe she's here for that racist jerk, but she's not here for the community. She's here for the people who are going to benefit her and make her look better. She needs to be fired, and I want her to be fired. Marina Police really needs to reform, and they need to fire Carolyn Polovia, and they need to fire Officer Ball for his negligence and for what he did to me that caused me to want to take my life 2 months later. And when I was placed on a 5150 hold, he was the officer who did that, when he knew exactly why that I was doing that to myself. He caused that, and I have yet to hear an apology from him or even sympathies. It's just horrible. Everything that has been happening is really just horrible. Carolyn Polovia needs to be fired. She does not deserve to be a police officer. She needs to get that badge taken away from her. She doesn't deserve that, and her picture needs to be shared. Her name needs to be shared. Her badge number needs to be shared. Her name is Carolyn Polovia with Marina PD. She is racist. She is a corrupt police officer, and she had murdered someone before she had switched to Marina PD. She tied someone to a chair when they were crying out for help and trying to receive medical attention. She denied someone medical attention. It was a very violent arrest. She beat someone up, tied them to a chair, left them alone for over 48 hours, and they died and she died. The lady died. And they came back in the room and saw her body. And they dismissed the charges, and they just sent her to another police station. Is that what we do? Is that what we do? When a police officer does something that horrible, that where they deserve to get fired, we just move them? You don't do that. And not even a couple months before this incident, me and my boyfriend were pulled over by a Salinas police sergeant who had his gun out and had his gun drawn when we did nothing wrong. He was yelling at us and he said, it's not us killing you, it's you people killing us. I don't know what he meant by you people. Actually, I do know what he meant by you people. And he made us repeat it right back to him. He said, say it. You people are killing us. We're not killing you. And this was in Salinas on Crazy Horse. This is not even a couple months before what is happening now. And it's horrible and it's wrong and it shouldn't be happening. Monterey County really needs to reform their police and change this, because this can no longer be happening and it's wrong. Carolyn Polovia needs to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to be fired. She needs to be kicked off the force. That's just period. She needs to be fired. She needs to be kicked off of the force, and she needs to face charges for that woman that she murdered. And I'm not going to let that woman be forgotten because of what she did to her.
Mm-hmm. Do you know her name?
I do not know her name, but I'm going to get her name.
Mm-hmm. And what do you know what police department she was at before she was transferred to Marina?
Salinas Police Department.
Salinas. And she murdered the person in Salinas?
Yes.
Oh,
in the Monterey County Jail.
Ooh. Okay, I guess that should be easy for a lot of people to pull up that information. Thank you so much again, Aaliyah.
No
you be safe.
Thanks.
You have an incredible day. I am gonna end this. Let's see. So I'm gonna end this live right now, and we're gonna meet you guys back up. Please share this and the other video that I just posted earlier with the first part of Aaliyah's interview. Is very important information. We need to make sure that we get this information out there, and that Marina Police Department is held accountable for what they do, and we reform or abolish the police, or the way that we know it today. It doesn't work. It only is there to support white supremacy, as you've just heard just now from Aaliyah's personal account with Marina PD and her run-in with a white supremacist when she was attacked, called nigger, and a host of other things. You have to rewind it and watch that live stream back. I will see you on the other side. You guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.